Welcome, everyone, and good afternoon. I'm Elizabeth Ewart, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Dean of Students here at the GW Law School. And I also have the pleasure of welcoming you to the 2022 Academic Awards celebration. We're so pleased that you could join us in person today for this special occasion. This is a wonderful day in the life of the George Washington University Law School, as we will be presenting some of our finest students with recognition of their hard work and dedication. We're very happy to be back in person to hold this event. With that, though, I would like to remind you to remain masked during the celebration. The celebration is being recorded for all the participants, so if you don't mind silencing your phones, if they're on, if you need to step outside to soothe a cough or a baby, please feel free to do so. And we respectfully ask that you please move into the lobby using the side doors if you need to exit. I want to take a moment to thank the many people who made this day possible: the event staff of Betts Theater and the University Student Center, Abdul El Tayaf, our photographer, who you will be posing for here shortly, SIP AVS, our videographer, Instrumentally Yours, our musicians, and our records office, who has worked tirelessly since last exams were taken last Friday to not only administer those exams, but to swiftly turn their focus to clearing graduates and providing us with the vital information needed to determine some of our winners today. And finally, the Dean of Students Office, who worked hard over the last year to ensure your experience today and your achievements over your time here at GW Law could be celebrated. They are Stephanie Allgaier, Jason Belk, Andra Chernak, and Victoria Karker, and special thanks to Andrew Rellon, Dan Prestwich, and Megan Gabrielson for putting on this event today. So, in today's program, faculty and deans will be reading the accomplishments and names of each winning student from the podium. The students do not know what award they are receiving. So, students, when your name is called and you are shocked and delighted to learn what award you have received, please come forward and receive your award here. Andrew Rellon will hand it to you, and then you may pose in front of the banner and drop your mask if you'd like for that photograph. In certain cases, the benefactors of the awards are with us today, and they may also invite you to pose with them for a photo here in front of the banner. You will receive a link to your photo, and more copies can be ordered if you wish. You will be contacted at your email address for your law school email, so please don't immediately block all senders from that email or delete it, and you should get that email in about 2 weeks. On the back of your program today is a QR code, and as you'll note, there are no names in your program, but once you scan that QR code at the end of our ceremony, you will see that that page will be populated by this afternoon with the names of the award winners. Eventually, at the beginning of next week, there will also be a PDF of the program with the award winners listed in it, posted for you to print and save as a souvenir if you wish. This ceremony is being live streamed and recorded, so you can share the link of the digital recording with friends and family after the ceremony, and that link will also be available on the Academic Awards website once we get that uploaded. So, we will be presenting 43 awards today, and 56 separate students will receive those awards. 5 extremely accomplished students will receive multiple awards. And the awards are divided into 5 categories, as you can see from your program: excellence in clinical practice, distinguished accomplishment, excellence in a general field of study, excellence in oral advocacy, and overall academic excellence. These categories represent a great breadth of accomplishment, everything from outstanding performance in specific courses, to clinical dedication, to victories in advocacy competitions, to overall academic performance. A wide range of our very best students are represented today, and we're simply delighted to honor all of you. Thanks to the mothers, fathers, spouses, family, and friends who have supported the winners over the years. And we also express our gratitude to the benefactors who have endowed many of these awards. So congratulations and best wishes to our graduates. And with that, it is now my pleasure to introduce Alberto Benitez, Professor of Clinical Law, who will present our first award.
Good afternoon. Our first clinical award this afternoon is given to a member of the graduating class who has demonstrated extraordinary ability in the immigration clinic and who also possesses the personal qualities that distinguished Manuel and Ana Maria Benitez, my parents, both of whom were immigrants, including initiative, creativity, zeal, loyalty, and integrity. The recipient receives a monetary award, a crystal trophy, a copy of the book John Lennon versus the USA, and a Dean's certificate. This year's Benitez Award winner never backed down from a challenge. In fact, she embraced them with a smile. During her 2 semesters at the immigration clinic, she represented her client in not 1, but 2 asylum interviews. When a client's family needed help leaving Afghanistan, she put together not 1, not 2, but 9 humanitarian parole applications. When another 2 clients' applications were erroneously denied by USCIS, she sprang into action to file appeals of their cases. As the end of the semester loomed, this year's winner committed to putting together an affirmative asylum packet for a women's rights attorney from Afghanistan. She even stayed on after the semester ended to finalize the hundreds of pages to support the client's application. Her work ethic is not the only admirable trait of this year's award winner. She is a great colleague and friend. Professor Vera and I enjoyed learning about her love of all things New York City, fashion, and Chinese food. This year's award winner is herself the daughter of immigrants. Her dad is from Taiwan, and her mom is Chinese, but was born in Korea. While we are sad that the award recipient will be moving back to New York City, we look forward to seeing what other challenges she conquers in the future. The winner of the 2022 Manuel and Ana Maria Benitez Award for Clinical Excellence in Immigration Law is Alexandra Alex Chen. I will now pass over the presentation of the rest of the clinical awards to Aram Gavur, Associate Dean for Academic Affairs and Professorial Lecturer in Law.
Good afternoon, everyone. The next clinical award this afternoon, the Volunteer Service Award, is presented to a member of the graduating Juris Doctor class who excelled in volunteering his or her time and energy to promote the goals and ideals in the public interest by contributing to the efforts of the Jacob Burns Community Legal Clinics. The student receiving this award is given an engraved gavel and a Dean's certificate. The recipient of this award experienced an unprecedented challenge this year in the Vaccine Injury Litigation Clinic. She was assigned a case in which the client is the father of a teenage daughter who died from epilepsy as a result of her vaccinations. At the beginning of the clinic, the case had already lost at the trial court and had been appealed to the United States Court of Federal Claims. It was not until the end of the fall semester that the judge at the Court of Claims set oral argument, and then he set them on a day in December in which the recipient had not 1, but 2 finals. He also set out 4 legal arguments he wanted discussed in the oral arguments. Despite being in the midst of finals prep, the recipient prepared an extensive legal memorandum to support oral arguments. As the spring semester began, the judge ruled in her client's favor vacating the trial court's decision and remanding it back for further proceedings. What happened during the 90-day remand period was utterly unprecedented in the clinic's history. The trial judge set a hearing, giving the recipient only 3 weeks to prepare the entire case, file additional evidence he ordered, prep the expert witness, and discuss testimony with the client. 5 days before trial, while talking with the client, she discovered that the father suffered from PTSD, and the trial judge's order for additional evidence in trial in such a short period of time had triggered a severe episode, rendering him unable to testify. The recipient of this award prepared direct exam questions for her expert, a leading pediatric neurologist, and cross-examination questions for the Department of Justice's experts, a pediatric neurologist and a PhD immunologist. The 2-day trial was conducted via WebEx, and the recipient took on the bulk of the trial, including direct and cross-exam of one witness, in addition to objections when the DOJ attorney and the trial judge blocked her professor from assisting. It should be noted the trial took place during spring break week, of course. The recipient was given 10 days to do a post-trial brief, which was completed with the assistance of a fellow student attorney. The trial judge then issued a 3.5-page order listing over 20 topics he wanted to discuss at an oral argument 3 days later. The argument, which the recipient second chaired, lasted 2.5 hours. She handled all of this with amazing empathy and respect for the client and tragic circumstances under which she died. She was professional throughout, received rave reviews, and she was ultimately rewarded on April the 19th of this year with a decision in her client's favor from the trial judge, a complete reversal from his original decision. The clinic estimates a damages award in the amount of $500,000. Please congratulate Julie Kim on winning this award. Julie is planning on staying in DC after graduation and will be working at a boutique IP firm, Knob Martens, where her clinic experience will certainly allow her to face any challenge with greater confidence. Our next award is sponsored by the Clinical Legal Education Association, also referred to as CLEA, to honor a student or students who, in the judgment of the faculty, has excelled above others in a clinical course. The awardee receives a CLEA certificate and a Dean's Certificate of Achievement. The recipient embodies student excellence in clinical education. She participated in the Family Justice Litigation Clinic in the fall of 2021 and was then invited back for spring of 2022. From day one onward, the recipient threw herself completely into the clinic's important work. With her clinic partner's help, the recipient negotiated a permanent custody agreement for a grandmother involved in a third-party custody battle. The agreement contained everything the client wanted. The agreement for another client, a young mother struggling with a recent separation and impending divorce, the recipient prepared a forceful case to take to trial. Ultimately, however, the recipient and her partner skillfully negotiated a settlement with the opposing party, an agreement that once again reflected the client's top priorities. Over the course of the year, the recipient represented 2 other individual clients and also mediated 3 cases. The recipient took extraordinary ownership of her casework, far beyond that of a typical law student. Each reflection she wrote during the course of the clinic revealed deep insight into the legal system, access to justice, her own performance, and justice generally. In addition to being a superlative future attorney, the recipient is an extraordinary colleague, to all who have the privilege of working with her. As her first semester clinic partner eloquently put it, quote, "She is everything I could have asked for in a clinic partner, unpretentious, yet deeply knowledgeable, patient by default, but aggressive when necessary, and uncompromising in her provision of compassionate legal representation." The recipient, Olivia Scott, is an understated superstar who will no doubt have a major impact on her future clients' lives. Olivia will be practicing law in Washington, D.C. after graduation. The third and final clinical award that I'll be presenting today is the Richard C. Lewis Award, and it's presented to a member of the graduating Juris Doctor class who exhibited extraordinary dedication to his or her work in the legal clinics and unusual compassion and humanity toward clients and colleagues. The recipient is awarded an engraved gavel and a certificate from the dean. This awardee embodies the qualities of the Richard C. Lewis Jr. Memorial Award through her exceptional commitment to upholding the humanity and dignity of her clients. She worked on some of the criminal defense and justice clinics' most challenging cases this year, representing clients who epitomized the criminal legal system's failures to address and treat systemic issues such as mental illness, addiction, and trauma. In one case, the awardee had a client who suffered from horrific childhood trauma and significant cognitive impairments. She zealously advocated with the prosecutor for dismissal of the charges through humanizing her client and highlighting the weaknesses in the prosecutor's case. While her efforts were not ultimately successful, the prosecutor reached out to her supervisors to commend her on her advocacy. In the end, her client wished to plead guilty against her recommendation to go to trial and did not feel comfortable discussing much of this trauma or other struggles during sentencing. The awardee was able to craft an effective sentencing argument that prioritized his wishes, successfully convincing the judge to sentence him to time served against the government's recommendation. This case was just one example of the awardee's unparalleled compassion and determination to serve her clients. After being invited back to the clinic for a second semester, the awardee continued to take on clients facing similar struggles without hesitation. Along with her clinic partner, she worked tirelessly to address her clients' needs holistically to ensure their long-term success and stability. The awardee was never deterred from navigating the frustrating and tragic circumstances her client faced. The recipient's compassion and empathy for her clients extended to her interactions with her peers. She was able to form successful partnerships with multiple students who had differing personalities and working styles. The awardee also impressed us with her support for her partners, and she demonstrated exemplary emotional intelligence in assisting her colleagues with professional and personal challenges. This year's awardee is Fatima Khan. Following graduation, Fatima has accepted a fellowship with the Immigrant Justice Corps in New Orleans. We have no doubt that she will bring the same indefatigable drive and commitment to her work on behalf of clients facing immigration detention and removal. Fatima is an understated yet fierce advocate that we need to watch in the future. I now welcome my colleague, Elfrida Robinson, Associate Dean for Trial Advocacy, Professorial Lecturer in Law, I'm not done yet, Co-Director of the Litigation and Dispute Resolution Program, to present our first award for distinguished accomplishment.
The Justice Thurgood Marshall Award is presented to a graduating Juris Doctor student who has exhibited outstanding performance in and dedication to the field of civil rights and civil liberties. The recipient is given an engraved plaque, a monetary award, a dean's certificate, and his or her name is inscribed on a wall plaque at the law school. This year we have 4 winners to celebrate out of, amazingly, over 100 nominations. I will call each winner up one at a time to take a photo with the dean, and then remain on the stage to take a photo of all the winners with our dean and myself at the end. The first winner is Jordan Michelle. On the recommendation of distinguished law faculty members, Jordan Michelle will receive the Thurgood Marshall Award for extraordinary work to advance civil rights and civil liberties, both within GW and national communities. Jordan serves as this year's president of the Student Bar Association.
You can pose with him if you want. You're the dean that you're speaking of.
Let me finish this. Thank you so much. Jordan serves as this year's president of the Student Bar Association and as a student attorney in civil and human rights at the Jacob Burns Community Legal Clinics. Prior to law school, Jordan spent a year in Air Force training and a judicial internship. He is the recipient of multiple donor-funded scholarships, including the Jeanette Michael Memorial Endowed Law Scholarship. As a member of the GW Strategic Planning Committee, the faculty noted that Jordan was a zealous and effective advocate for specific goals that reflected student proposals for equity, diversity, and inclusion. After commencement, Jordan will proudly join the Air Force Judge Advocate General Corps, or JAG. Our second winner is Samantha Peace. On the recommendation of a GW Law graduate, professorial lecturer in law, and a former Thurgood Marshall honoree, Samantha will receive the award for extraordinary work in a number of areas, but particularly related to police reform. In the wake of a national reckoning with police violence, Samantha used her legal research and writing skills to advance civil rights and civil liberties. Working together with other students, she helped lead a new and intensive effort to reform policing in the District of Columbia. Samantha drafted a report detailing how the district could safely and effectively rely on citations instead of a full custodial arrest in many instances. Her report has been cited in DC Council hearings and by the DC Police Reform Commission. The organization that she and the students built is now a nonprofit with a full-time staff, and Samantha continues to stay engaged. Samantha will be clerking for the Honorable Suanna Johnson in the Colorado Court of Appeals after graduation. The third winner is Golba Kendrick Pele. On the recommendation of two separate NGOs directors, Kendrick will receive the award for extraordinary work in protecting children from abduction and exploitation worldwide. The legal services were provided at the International Center for Missing and Exploited Children and Project Us Kids Foundation. He personally developed critical policies and participated in initiatives that were much needed in DC. Our final winner today is Iris Monty Gibson. On the recommendation of her peers, Iris will receive the award for extraordinary work in advance in civil rights. They said from day one, as a first-year student, she stood out and always questioned whether the law that they were studying could do that at the level of the individual. During law school, she worked in 5 different summer and school year roles with public interest organizations. She excelled both in zealously representing individual DC residents in civil, criminal, and discrimination matters, and in advocating for broader systemic reform. Her prior career in social services and public policy enabled her to make tremendous contributions to these organizations. This fall, she will begin as an honors attorney with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. She is committed to advancing justice, equal citizenship, and all the legacies to protect civil rights. And so that are our winners. I now welcome Tammy Tideswell, who was responsible for this whole weekend, I might add. Senior Associate Dean for Administrative Affairs, John S. Jenkins Family Professorial Lecturer in Law and Policy. Ma'am.
I have the privilege of completing the presentation of awards for distinguished accomplishment this afternoon, starting with scholarship and the Leadership Award. This award is presented to a member of the graduating class who best represents a combination of both scholarship and leadership. The winner receives course tuition from the American Law Institute and the Dean's Certificate of Achievement. Our winner today is Yoon Dun-sai. Today's winner received multiple nominations from faculty and staff. One nomination said, Yundun has proven himself not only a highly capable student, but a mature voice of reason and process in the midst of competing ideas and voices. As the Vice President of the Student Bar Association, he has presided over often contentious Senate meetings, assessed bills and resolutions for substance and precision, and counseled the Student Bar Association President on strategic concerns. He has worked to leave a legacy across our three-branch Student Bar Association government regarding clearer legislative and executive processes and interactions. Yunda is not only a capable student government leader, but is a thoughtful and trusted partner to the administration, bringing issues to our attention when warranted, helping to brainstorm paths forward, and offering candid input. I have come to rely on his counsel with regard to many student-facing issues. Finally, I know Yundun to be a loyal and self-sacrificing friend. He has helped his peers to succeed when they were already in positions of leadership, and also cared for and lifted up friends who were not succeeding, but were in crisis or distress. In sum, Yundun has contributed to the law school community in far more ways than simply being a top student academically. He has demonstrated his care and commitment to the future of the law school and its place in the university. Another nomination goes on to say, quote, from his contribution as the Chief Justice of the Student Court for GW undergrads to the tremendous work of the Student Bar Association Vice President, Mr. Tsai is the embodiment of the American Law Institute mission as stated by Justice Cardozo. I understand that traditionally law review leaders are considered for this honor, but if there has ever been or will be a time to break that tradition, it is now. In the spirit of Justice Cardozo's thoughts, when Yunda Tsai goes out under the name and with the sanction of the Institute, after all this testing and retesting, he will be something more than a graduate of a law school, but soon will be within the realm of a high court position. He will be invested with unique authority, not to command, but to persuade. He will embody a composite thought and speak a composite voice. Universities and bench and bar will have a part in his becoming and excelling as a member of the legal community. I have great faith in this promising new lawyer. The Michael Dillon Cooley Memorial Award is presented to the member of the graduating Juris Doctor class who most successfully maintained his or her compassion, vitality, and humanity during law school. This award is highly coveted because the recipient is selected by a vote of the graduating class. The winner will receive an engraved plaque and a dean's certificate. The recipient of the Michael Dooley Cooley Award is Tyrus Jackson. Tyrus served as the Brandeis Inn Wennell Senator, the Vice President of First-Year Students in 2021 to 2022, the Vice President of Student Enrichment Services, and was a member of the Journal of Energy and Environmental Law. Tyrus truly embodies the spirit of compassion and dedication to the students of GW Law. Tyrus attended Rutgers University, where he earned his Bachelor of Science in Health Administration, and prior to attending law school, Tyrus earned his Master of Science in Health Policy right here at GW. The National Association of Women's Lawyers Award is presented to a student who contributes to the advancement of women in society, promotes issues and concerns of women in the legal profession, exhibits motivation, tenacity, and enthusiasm, demonstrates academic achievement, and who has earned the respect of the law school faculty and administration. The winner receives recognition in the Women Lawyers Journal and a Dean's Certificate of Achievement. Our winner today embodies all of these attributes. Please join us in congratulating Ty Williams. A nominator had this to say about Ty, quote, "Ms. Williams has been a tireless contributor to the GW law community and beyond through her work with the Law Association for Women and more." Please don't leave us. Ms. Williams' work with GW Law and in support of women's rights and legal education goes far beyond fiscal accountability. Ty will be remembered for her willingness to mentor new students and organizing programs such as 9 Portraits of Women in the Law in March of 2021, a 2-week event that featured women panelists of all walks of life. She has inspired legal luminaries. She was inspired by feminine legal luminaries such as Patricia Roberts Harris, Belva Lockwood, and Jeanette Michael. Throughout her enrollment at GW Law, Ms. Williams has organized many other events, raised funds and awareness on legal issues affecting women worldwide. And Ty is an outstanding credit to this institution. I will now hand over the presentation of the next award to my friend and colleague, Lisa Skank, Associate Dean for National Security, Cybersecurity, and Foreign Relations Law, and Distinguished Professorial Lecturer in Law.
The next award is the Robert E. Tebow and Richard B. Skank Award for service to the military. The Robert E. Tebow and Richard B. Skank Award for service to the military is in honor of my father, Robert Tebow, and my father-in-law, Richard Skank. They were both served as Marines. This award recognizes one or more members of the graduating class who have undertaken extraordinary efforts to honor, assist, or otherwise support veterans and current members of the United States Armed Forces, and who possess the personal qualities that reflect the qualities of Robert Tebow and Richard Skank, both of whom were military veterans. Qualities such as honor, integrity, leadership, self-sacrifice, selfless service, and courage. Recipients of this award receive a monetary award, the highly coveted Dean's Certificate of Achievement, an engraved plaque, and a flag that has been flown over the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Armed Forces courthouse with an accompanying certificate signed by Judge Maggs. This year, there are 3 very worthy recipients who work to create ways to give back to those who served. The 3 winners should come forward individually for a solo picture with moi and members and moi, and then remain on the stage for the second group photo. These 3 students have worked as a team, each one leading a student organization that served the military and encouraged fellow students to do so. The first winner served as the president of the Veterans Student Law Association. The second winner served as the president of the Military Law Society. And the third winner served as president of the National Security Law Association. Together, these students organized career panels, scholarly discussions, pro bono and service projects, a discussion with a four-star general who was the longest-serving NATO commander in Afghanistan, a military appellate court outreach argument, a fireside chat with the Department of the Army General Counsel, and many other worthy events. They worked with offices and other students groups throughout the law school, university, and national security community, helping to promote services to active duty military, reservists, and veterans, gaining the respect and trust of numerous administrators throughout the law school and university, including the Military and Veteran Students Office, dedicated to veteran services. They also kept veterans apprised of scholarships, benefits, and career opportunities, and connected students to numerous active duty military offices to perform copious hours of volunteer work. Throughout their time at the law school, they led by example and mentored countless students on military and veteran opportunities and other issues. In alphabetical order, our first winner, who is a veteran himself, is the president of the Veteran Law Students Association, who, despite his busy academic schedule, personally assisted with those in need due to the evacuation of Afghanistan. He also administered a scholarship program for veteran students. The first winner of the Robert E. Tebow and Richard B. Skank Award for service to the military is Daniel S. Bickle. Dan Bickle is a graduate of Grand Canyon University in Phoenix, Arizona, where he received a Bachelor of Science in Accounting. After he sits for the bar exam, Dan will serve as an active duty Marine Corps officer, and he gets the highly commended. Not that I'm bossy or anything, but stand over there. Let's see. I think I'm a little messed up. Okay, yeah. The second recipient of this award has also been involved in promoting service to the military through his active leadership role as the president of the Military Law Society. He also served with U.S. Army JAG Corps, working as a paid intern at Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington State. Throughout his time at the law school, he led by example and mentored countless students on military and veteran career opportunities. The second recipient of the Robert E. Tebow and Richard B. Skank Award for service to the military is Tyler S. Breeden. Tyler is a graduate of Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia, where he received a Bachelor of Arts in History and a Bachelor of Arts in Russian and Eastern European Language and Culture. After he sits for the bar exam, Tyler is hoping to serve as a Marine Corps officer. We got 2 Marines. The third and final recipient of this award has been involved in promoting service to the military and veterans throughout her time at GW Law. As the National Security Law President, she actively led and advertised, and I mean advertised, making the flyers and putting them up and spreading them out through the school. Numerous events focused on hosting leaders from the defense community, as well as providing outreach and networking opportunities to our students, veterans, and the military. She's been the face of the National Security Law Program for veterans and active duty military law school applicants and admitted students, welcoming them and providing them with an overview of the law school. The third winner of the Robert E. Tebow and Richard B. Skank Award for service to the military is Riven Lysander. Riven Lysander is a graduate of the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia, where she received a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, which is why she can deal with me. Riven will be joining the DC office of the Alston and Bird Law Firm. Congratulations to all of our winners. Now I have the distinct pleasure to introduce my friend, my colleague, my former boss, who's been with the law school for 3 decades. He originally was a full-time faculty member for 2 decades, 2.5 decades, and now Greg Maggs is a professorial lecturer in law, and he's a judge on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Armed Forces. And he will continue with the presentation.
I'll be presenting 2 awards. The first award is the Judge Robert W. Titus Award. The late Judge Titus was a U.S. federal district judge in the Eastern District of Maryland, and he was known not only for his wisdom, knowledge, and intelligence, but also for his great love of GW graduates. While he was a judge, he hired 17 law clerks from GW. He once told Professor Clark, "I just can't help it. I have to hire GW law clerks." And what made it all the more special is he went to law school at Georgetown. The Judge Roger W. Titus Award is given to a graduating student who seeks or obtains a federal district court clerkship and who embodies the qualities of academic excellence, personality, and humility that Judge Titus sought in his law clerks. This year's winner is John Seidman. After graduation, John will clerk for Judge Benjamin Beaton on the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Kentucky, and then for Judge Sandra Kuda on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit. I know from having John in class that John is exactly the type of person that Judge Titus sought in his law clerks. The next award is the Ladakis and Weston Law Review Award. Ladakis and Weston George Washington Law Review Best Note Stipend is named in honor of Professors Gus A. Ladakis and Glenn E. Weston. Each year, one student from the George Washington Law Review is chosen to receive this award, established in 2015 to encourage student scholarship by rewarding the most innovative, creative, and thoughtful student note. This year's recipient is Braden J. Parker for his note, "Cornerstone upon which rest all others, utilizing canons of statutory interpretation to confirm an enforceable trust duty for Native American health care." Braden's note was selected by members of the Law Review's editorial and senior board for its compassionate and incisive expression, as well as of its balanced treatment of a longstanding issue. The note was published in Volume 90, Issue 1, in February 2022. Please join me in congratulating Braden, and also thank you to each of the members of the Law Review who contributed to the piece. And finally, a very hearty thank you to Mr. Rudge, who made this award possible, and for his generous support of the Law Review over the years. I now invite Rosa Solorio, Associate Dean for International and Comparative Legal Studies, and Burnett Family Distinguished Professorial Lecturer in International and Comparative Law and Policy, to the podium to continue our awards presentation.
Good afternoon. Our next award, the Thelma Weaver Memorial Award, is presented to the foreign graduate student who, in the judgment of the Dean and the International Graduate Studies Committee, contributed most to the intellectual and professional life of the law school, its students, and faculty. It was established by the late Professor David Weaver in honor of his wife Thelma, who was devoted to our foreign students. The recipient is given a monetary award, as well as a Dean's Certificate of Achievement, and his or her name is etched on a wall plaque at the law school. This year, we have 2 recipients of this award. I would call them up individually. Our first recipient is Linda Anael Kegne. Anael is currently pursuing her LLM in intellectual property law at GW Law School. Anael is a star and has been a leader among students at GW Law School. She has devoted her time to creating institutions and spaces for LLM students to have a voice and to thrive at the law school. Anael is superbly intelligent, charismatic, creative, and passionate. She has left her mark on everything that she has done at the law school. Our second recipient is Monk Saya Odgon. Zaya is from Mongolia and is currently pursuing her LLM in International and Comparative Law at GW Law School with a concentration in international human rights. Zaya is highly intelligent, dynamic, dedicated, engaging, kind, generous, and an advocate for human rights and dignity. She has become an ambassador and leader among the LLM students and has greatly excelled academically during her time with us. We are very lucky to have Anael and Zaya as our students this year. They have greatly influenced each of us in a very unique way. We all very much look forward to seeing all that they will accomplish in the future, which will surely be tremendous. I'm now pleased to hand the celebration over to Scott Pagel, Associate Dean for Information Services, Director of the Law Library, and Professor of Law, to begin the presentation of awards for excellence in a general field of study.
Good afternoon. Finding my place here. Our next award this afternoon, the Ogden W. Fields Award, is given to a member of the graduating Juris Doctor class who has demonstrated the highest proficiency in labor law. The winner receives a monetary award and a Dean's Certificate. The winning student today receives superlative grades in labor law and employment law. Our winner is Lane Sims. Unfortunately, Lane could not be in attendance today. He attended the University of Arkansas, earning a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science and Economics. Please join me in congratulating Lane. Our second Labor and Employment Award, the Lawrence E. Seibel Award, is given to a member of the graduating Juris Doctor class who has demonstrated excellence in the labor and employment law field. The winner receives a Dean's Certificate and an engraved plaque. Our winner is Iman Naeem. Iman received her Bachelor of Science from George Mason University, majoring in industrial organization psychology and minoring in business. It is now my pleasure to introduce Shanaz Joshi, Assistant Dean of Graduate and International Programs, to the stage for the next two awards.
Our next award today, the Richard L. Teberg Award, is presented to a member of the graduating Juris Doctor class who demonstrates the highest overall proficiency in the areas of securities law. The student receives a monetary award and the Dean's certificate. Our winner this year earned high grades in security regulation and in takeover and tender offers. Please join me in congratulating Y.E. Liu for this achievement. Wai attended the Minzu University of China, earning a Bachelor of Laws degree. Next, the Henry R. Berger Award is presented to a member of the graduating Juris Doctor class who has demonstrated excellence in the area of tort law. The recipient is awarded an engraved plaque and a certificate of achievement from the Dean. The winning student receives superlative grades in first-year torts, genetics and the law, complex litigation, and the vaccine injury clinic. The winning student is Emily Shipsky. Emily attended George Mason University, where she earned her Bachelor of Science in Criminology, Law, and Society. Now, I would like to invite John Whalen, Associate Dean for Intellectual Property Law, to the stage to continue our presentation.
Thank you very much, Shanaz. I will be presenting 3 different IP awards with a total of 5 winners. The first IP award is given to a member of the graduating JD class who exhibits excellence in the area of patent law. It's the Chris Bartok Award, awarded in memory of Chris, who tragically passed away while a student here at GW. It was Chris's great desire to study patent law, and it is now the wish of his family that his memory live on in the accomplishment of students highly skilled in this area. The student selected receives an engraved plaque and a Dean's certificate. Our winner this year received very high grades in 5 IP courses, including patent law, chemical and biotech patent law, sounds fascinating, doesn't it? Patent enforcement, IP licensing, and an intellectual property law seminar in advanced patent litigation. The winner is Scott Berger. Scott earned his Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering from the Iowa State University and is a member of GW's Law Student Intellectual Property Law Association. The next prizes are the Finnegan Prizes in Intellectual Property Law. The Finnegan Prizes are sponsored by the law firm of Finnegan Henderson, which has long been a leader in IP practice and a friend to the law school. These prizes are given to the JD or LLM student who produces the best publishable article on intellectual property law. Each winner receives a Dean's certificate and a monetary award, a sizable monetary award, as I recall. We are lucky that all 3 winners who won last year's competition, which we grade over the summer, are graduating students this year. Why don't we have each student come up when their name is called and then stand to the side and we'll take a group photo at the end. Our first place winner is Erin Williamson, who wrote How to Get Rich Without Even Trying. I'm not done. The Music Modernization Act gives publishers an advantage to unfairly profit from the work of independent songwriters. Great. Erin graduated from Drexel University, where I also have a degree, with a Bachelor's of Science in Music Industry, and will be clerking for the Honorable Charles Butler for the Superior Court, Newcastle County, Delaware, after graduation. Our second place winner is Jordan Cowger, who wrote Not So Natural Phenomena, Reshaping Section 101 to Protect DNA-Based Technologies. Jordan will be clerking for the Honorable Robert Schroeder III in the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Texas after graduation. Jordan earned a Bachelor's of Science in Agricultural Science and Natural Resources from Oklahoma State University. Our third place winner is Heather Walters, who wrote Failing the Fashion Industry, How U.S. Copyright Law and TRIPS Fails Fashion Designers and an Analysis of Proposed Remedies. Heather earned a Bachelor's of Science in Political Science from the University of Central Florida and a Master's of Arts from Georgetown University. They won last year, but now they get the checks. Our last IP award is the Peter D. Rosenberg Prize in Patent and Intellectual Property Law. The Rosenberg Prize is our highest intellectual property award and is presented to the member of the graduating JD class who has demonstrated the highest overall excellence in patent and intellectual property law studies. The student selected receives a monetary award and a dean's certificate. The winning student today received A-range grades in several IP courses, including IP licensing, trademark and unfair competition law, patent law, and patent policy and practice. Our winner is Chengmin Liu. Chengmin attended the University of California, Berkeley, earning a Bachelor's of Science in Electrical Engineering and Computer Science, and also attended King's College, London, earning a Master's of Art in International Political Economy. He likes degrees. It is now my pleasure to introduce Donna Atanasio, the Director of Energy Law and Professorial Lecturer of Law, to present the next two awards. Donna.
Good afternoon. Each spring, GW Law presents the Jamie Grodsky Prize for Environmental Law Scholarship for the best paper written by a JD, LLM, or SJD student in the field of environmental law. The prize commemorates the innovative research of Professor Jamie Grodsky, who passed away in 2010 and is profoundly missed. The prize is funded by a generous gift from Professor Jamie Grodsky's father, Dr. Gerald Grodsky, and memorial gifts from her friends on the faculty. This year, the Environmental and Energy Law faculty honors Christina Morgan. Her paper, entitled Using Uganda's Regulations as the Basis for a Standalone Legal Mechanism to Regulate Access to and Benefit Sharing of Biological Resources and Traditional Knowledge in the United Republic of Tanzania, impressed her reviewers. Her paper provided in-depth analysis of international benefit sharing mandates, a detailed critique of Tanzania's inadequacy in protecting biological resources and traditional knowledge, and her pragmatic, thoughtful, creative, and thoroughly considered recommendations. If her recommendations were implemented, they would provide much-needed protection for the United Republic of Tanzania's unique and priceless biological resources and its people's traditional knowledge. Ms. Morgan's note is scheduled to be published in Volume 54 of GW International and Comparative Law Journal. Congratulations, Christina. Next is the Charles and Catherine Miller Environmental Law Award. The Charles and Catherine Miller Environmental Law Award is presented to the member of the graduating class who has demonstrated excellence in the field of environmental law. The award is named in honor of Dean Lee Paddock's grandparents, who lived on a centennial farm on Lake Michigan and is the place where he first developed his interest in the environment. The students receive a dean's certificate, a monetary award, and a framed photograph. The Environmental and Energy Law faculty has selected graduating student Austin Himes, GW's Austin is GW's SBA Director of Sustainability for the Charles and Catherine Miller Environmental Law Award. This award is presented to the members of the graduating Juris Doctor or Masters of Law class who demonstrated well-rounded excellence in the field of environmental law. Austin was chosen for his outstanding leadership of the Environmental and Energy Law Association, where he and his 8-member executive board team planned and executed over 25 events during the middle of a global pandemic. EELA hosted local professors, thought leaders, and academics to discuss topics ranging from environmental justice, academic scholarship, public sector and private sector employment, and mentorship. Among other contributions, Austin personally worked with GW Law Dean Dana Bowen Matthew, Howard Professor Carlton Waterhouse, and Howard's Environmental Law Society to plan and host GW's 2020 Environmental Justice and Healthcare Equity Fireside Chat. Austin also moderated many panels with law firm partners, nonprofit organization leaders, and government attorneys to ensure virtual attendees across America were well informed about the broad range of postgraduate employment opportunities available to environmental and energy law students. And I stole his idea this year. Austin represented GW at the 2021 and 2022 National Energy and Sustainability Moot Court Competition. He also served as a member of George Washington Law Review. As my research assistant, among other projects, Austin developed a detailed background on the Alaskan electric system and regulations. The paper supported a National Science Foundation-funded multidisciplinary collaborative project called Foundations for Improving Resilience in the Energy Sector Against Wildfires on Alaskan Lands, which comes out to Firewall. For these reasons and for the social network Austin created while at GW Law, the faculty is pleased to designate him as the 2022 Miller Award winner. It is now my pleasure to introduce Carmia Caesar, Associate Dean for Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, for the presentation of the next award.
Thank you, Donna. Good afternoon. The next award this afternoon, the Phi Delta Phi Award, is presented to a member of the graduating Juris Doctor class who has demonstrated excellence in the areas of professional responsibility and jurisprudential studies. The winning student will receive a Dean's Certificate, and her name will be inscribed on a wall plaque at the law school. This year, we have 3 winners who earned identical grades in professional responsibility and ethics and in a jurisprudence seminar. Our first winner is Michael DeJesus. Mike attended American University, earning a Bachelor of Science degree in economics. Our second winner is Sarah Kolick. Sarah received her Bachelor of Arts in Government and East Asian Languages from Smith College. Our final winner is Robert Scott. Robert attended Vanderbilt University, where he earned his Bachelor of Degree in Philosophy. Please welcome Steve Schooner, Nash and Chubinick Professor of Government Procurement Law, to the stage for the next award.
Our next award, the Joel B. Rosenthal Award, is presented to a member of the graduating Juris Doctor class who has demonstrated excellence in the area of commercial law. The selected student receives a monetary award and that so coveted Dean's Certificate of Achievement. Our winner today is Mariana Fernandez. Mariana earned her Bachelor of Arts from the New York University, majoring in English, Literature, and Psychology. And it is now my unique pleasure to introduce to you and hand over this podium to Alan Morrison, the Lerner Family Associate Dean for Public Interest and Public Service Law, and of course, Professorial Lecturer in Law.
I'm here to award the Howard Rudge Creative Solutions Prize. Mr. Rudge, a member of the class of 1964 and a retired Vice President and General Counsel of the DuPont Corporation, has endowed this award for presentation to members of the graduating Juris Doctor class who write the best papers proposing a creative solution to a serious societal problem of the United States. The winner receives a Dean's Certificate and a substantial monetary award. We are recognizing this year's second place winner, Emma Eisendrath. her paper, and I'll try to get it all out. When accounting does no good, regulating calorie tracking applications to protect individuals with eating disorders. Emma was a double major at Oberlin College, focusing on politics and law and society. She will be clerking for the Honorable Andrew Hurwitz of the United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit after graduation. Please welcome next Jessica Tillipman, Assistant Dean for Government Procurement Law Studies, Government Contracts Advisory Council, Professorial Lecturer in Government Contracts Law, Practice, and Policy, to present the next award.
Good afternoon, and congratulations to all the graduates and their families this weekend. I'm next announcing the Patricia A. Tobin Award, which is given to a member of the graduating Juris Doctor or Master of Laws class who demonstrates excellence in the area of government procurement law. The awardee receives a plaque, a monetary award, and the Dean's Certificate of Achievement. The winner this year earned very high grades in 4 procurement-related courses, including Formation of Government Contracts, Performance of Government Contracts, and in a government contract seminar on state and local procurement. This winner also received approximately 5,884 emails from me over the course of the school year, so thank you for your good nature regarding that as well. The winner of this year's Tobin Award is Michaela Thornton. Michaela is the editor-in-chief of the Public Contract Law Journal and attended Duke University, where she earned her Bachelor of Arts in Public Policy Studies. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce Renee Devine, Associate Dean for Academic Development and Professorial Lecturer in Law, to the stage for the next 2 awards.
Good afternoon. Our next award this afternoon is the Jenny Hassler Walburn Award. It is presented to the member of the graduating Juris Doctor class who has demonstrated the highest level of excellence in the area of civil procedure. The winner earned the extraordinary grades in civil procedure, the course Conflicts of Law, and the course called Complex Litigation. Please congratulate Joshua Rychek. Joshua attended NYU, earning his Bachelor of Arts in Politics, and was the articles editor for International Law Review here at GW Law. The next award this afternoon is the Imogen Williford Constitutional Law Award, and it is given to a member of the graduating Juris Doctor class who demonstrates excellence in the area of constitutional law. The student selected receives a monetary award and, say it after me, the Dean's Certificate of Achievement. Our winning student this year received extremely high grades in 6 relevant classes: Constitutional Law 1, Federal Courts, Constitutional Law 2, Voting Rights Law, Employment Discrimination Law, and a constitutional law seminar called Religion and the Law, contemporary issues. Our winner today is Raymond Hernandez. RJ earned his Bachelor of Arts in Politics from Princeton University while minoring in ethical philosophy. I am now pleased to introduce David Johnson, Assistant Dean for Pro Bono and Advocacy Programs, Professorial Lecturer in Law, to continue our awards presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Congratulations to all the award winners. I'm here to present the awards for excellence in oral advocacy because I'm the Dean of Advocacy Programs, which are our moot courts, our mock trials, our ADR competitions, and even one of our clinics, the litigation clinic. However, before we get to the awards, this man right here deserves a lot of credit. It's been a wonderful ceremony. And he has made this next moment possible. So, Fatima Khan, come on forward. Last night at 9:20 p.m., I am at the Capitals game watching them crap away another season. Come on up, Fatima. And Fatima writes this email to the Dean of Students Office and to me. I was talking to my friend Tola Ogorinde, who was selected to represent GW Law in the Giles Rich competition last spring after competing in the Rothwell competition. She mentioned that she had not gotten an invite to the academic awards ceremony. I am aware that Tola and her partner, Vanya Wang, were not the winning team, but they were still selected to represent GW in a national competition. I was hoping they could be recognized. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to recognize them now. So Tola Ogorinde and Vanya Wang, please come on up. Here they come. And this man even made certificates happen. I don't even know when. Yay! You're welcome. The power of advocacy. All right, turning to our first advocacy award, the Jacob Burns Award. The Jacob Burns Award is given to the members of the winning team of the Van Vleck Moot Court competition. This is our premier in-house, it's called an internal competition. Only GW students can participate. It's a fake argument before a Supreme Court. And Dean Morrison, if you want to come up and pose with him, you write the problem. You might as well come join him. It's a fake argument before the Supreme Court, and we've been very lucky being here in Washington, D.C. 6 current members of the Supreme Court have judged the final round of this. So this really is a big deal competition. Each winner receives a monetary award, a Dean's Certificate of Achievement, an engraved plaque, and their name is permanently recorded on a wall plaque on the law school. I know this to be true because, again, this man yesterday drove out to Trophy Mart, gave me the wall plaques, and I screwed them in the wall yesterday. All right, so your name is up. All right. Okay, sometimes 2Ls win this award, and they have to wait a year and a half to get their award. And our first winner from the 2020-2021 competition is Samuel Song. Samuel's partner is a part-time student and will wait 2.5 years for her award. Here comes Alan. Alan, you want to go pose? Yeah. Samuel attended the University of California, San Diego, and earned his Bachelor's of Arts in Literature in English. And now the winners of the 2021-2022 competition, they wisely were 3Ls and only waited a few months. The first winner is Jacob Fraley. And his partner in the competition, Maggie McCurdy. It is my understanding they are dating. We have had teams get married after this competition. I don't know if that's a curse or a blessing. Congratulations. You all see why they put me at the end here, because you're getting kind of tired. Here I come. All right. The next award is the Cohen & Cohen Mock Trial Award. A mock trial competition is what you've all seen in movies. Opening statements, closing statements, crossing witnesses, direct examinations. And this is our premier in-house competition. So just GW students compete. Each winner receives a monetary award, a dean's certificate, and an engraved plaque. This award is kindly endowed by the law firm of Cohen & Cohen, which is a strictly litigation law firm, and Wayne Cohen is an adjunct professor here at the law school. The winning team this year, and I'm told one of them could not make it today, is Dozier Gardner and Stephen Kaplan. So Stephen, come on down and represent your team. Stephen earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in Law and Policy Economics from Dickinson College. Oh, Dozier's here. They walked up to me and said you weren't here. Okay, hold on. Here comes Dozier Gardner. Come on up. Dozier attended Ithaca College, where he earned his Bachelor of Arts degree in Legal Studies. And here, I'll come do the team. All right, the next award is of these advocacy ones, is my favorite because it's the only one where the winners don't know they've won it. I mean, Dozier and Steve, they know they won, right? But this is the Court Call Award, and it's provided by Court Call Legal Services to 2 third-year students, and they are the best moot court and the best mock trial students in the graduating class. Each receives a monetary award. I need to get your addresses after the competition so Court Call can send you the monetary award and a dean's certificate. We are first going to present the mock trial award. The winner of this award excelled both in internal on-campus competitions and external competitions when you compete against other students from other law schools. And in fact, this student competed in the same competition that last year's a winner did. She was a member of the Estrella mock trial competition team, which finished second in their competition. And that's the highest accomplishment of anyone in the graduating class. But this student's efforts did not stop there. As a 3L, she came back and she co-chaired the internal Cohen & Cohen mock trial competition that Dozier and Stephen just participated in. So not only did she succeed as an advocate, but she also gave back and helped run competitions as a co-chair. Ladies and gentlemen, the first recipient of the Court Call Law School Award for Excellence in Mock Trial is Melissa Rodriguez. And our best moot court student in the graduating class is, in moot court, it's the one competition where you have to engage in both oral and written advocacy. So we were looking for somebody who excelled in both categories. You simply can't excel more than winning best brief and best oral advocate and succeed both in internal and external competitions. This student began her journey as a 2L in the Van Vleck Moot Court competition, where she and her partner, who you've already met earlier, RJ, won Best Brief. And then as a 3L, she competed externally in one of the largest moot court competitions in the country, the New York Bar and American College of Trial Lawyers National Moot Court Competition, where at the regional, she was selected Best Oral Advocate. Ladies and gentlemen, the best moot court student in the graduating class is Jennifer Pantel. Yeah, and you didn't win. All right, the next award is the Judge Albert H. Grenadier Award, which is presented to the members of the graduating Juris Doctor class who represented GW Law at the Jessup International Law Moot Court Competition, which is the preeminent moot court competition in the world. Each member of the team receives a monetary award, a Dean's Certificate of Achievement, and an engraved plaque. All right, here I've actually got to read. Normally I had this memorized. This team did a lot. This year's team went undefeated in its 4 preliminary rounds and were ranked as the 3rd overall team. In the regional advancement round of 32, they reached the quarterfinals and qualified for the international rounds, which is the World Championship. In doing so, they also took home a number of awards, including 10th Best Brief. Because over 360 students from 90 law schools competed, Jessup only gave awards to the 50 best oral advocates, and GW was the only team in the United States to place all 4 members in the top 50. This is particularly impressive because, due to the pandemic, this is the first time all U.S. schools competed in one national round. In the international rounds, GW competed against the best law schools from over 100 countries in the international rounds and advanced through the preliminary and advancement rounds to reach the round of 32. From our research, this beats or matches the best GW has ever done in the 62 years of this competition. We have never before made it to the elimination rounds of the international competition. Additionally, at the international rounds, the team won 11th Best Memorial Brief. The team was coached by alum professor Trent Buwate. And I want to call each of the winners to the stage one at a time. And the first person I'm going to call actually was on last year's team and this year's team, so he's winning for 2 reasons. The first person I want to call up is John Catalfamo. John earned his Bachelor of Arts right here at GW, majoring in international affairs. John, don't go anywhere. Your teammates are coming up. All right, the next member of this very impressive team is Adam Manning. Adam attended the University of Michigan, earning a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science and Latin American and Caribbean Studies. The next member of the team is Ryan McGeed. Ryan earned his Bachelor of Arts in Political Science and Public Communications from American University. And the final member of the team with us here today is Samuel Song, who you've already met once. And again, one member will need to wait until next year to receive their awards. Let's take a team photo and I'll come join you. All right, and the final Oral Advocacy Award before I turn it over to our number 2 dean in the law school, Michael Abramowitz, the Pamela Spinogle International Commercial Arbitration Award, which actually I know going forward it's simply going to be known as the Spanigle International Commercial Arbitration Award. The individual who endowed this award, Andy Spinogle, sadly passed away during the pandemic on his birthday. Andy was a wonderful man, and the award that this competition recognizes. Andy and I coached the first 3 teams for this competition together. And Andy gave just the best advice you could possibly give to any students in oral advocacy. Tell me a story. You know, you always want you to start with just telling you a story. And it was Andy's great wish by endowing this award that we'd have an on-campus international arbitration advocacy competition that selected students so that they could compete in the International Wilhelm Wiss commercial arbitration competition. and that is continuing on because of Andy. With regard to this year's team, this year's recipients, in their preliminary rounds of the Willem Vis competition, they faced 4 teams from Tehran, Paris, Lisbon, and Beijing, literally a full world tour. And additionally, and I just thought this was particularly nice and noteworthy, after the conflict in Ukraine began, the male members of the Ukrainian team could not escape the Ukraine, but the female members could. They made it to Paris. And to help this team, the Ukrainian team, prepare for the competition, these students virtually mooted against them in the competition. And that's just extraordinary. And it's, you know, it's building bridges the way international law is designed to do. And so, the 4 members of this team are Kamal Ali, Kamal attended George Mason University and earned his Bachelor of Arts in Government and International Politics. Anna Mancino. Anna earned her Bachelor's of Arts in, of course, International Studies and French from the University of South Carolina and will be clerking for the Honorable Robert Smith in the Fairfax County Circuit Court. Gabriel Stein. Gabriel went to American University earning a Bachelor of Arts in International Studies. And finally, Vinos Vahid. Venus attended George Mason University, earning her Bachelor of Arts in International Studies. And what was also remarkable about this team, they were best friends when they started law school, and they remained best friends at the end. I am now pleased to welcome Michael Abramowitz, Senior Associate Dean for Academic Affairs and Oppenheim Professor of Law, to finish our presentation of awards today.
Thank you, David, and thanks to all of you. And let's see if I can find the page here. All right, here we go. I now have the pleasure of concluding our ceremony by announcing the winners of the awards for overall academic excellence. Before we move to those, however, I would like to first recognize a special honoree today. As you may know, we award degrees in May, September, and January. All such degree recipients are included in the grade and rank calculations for the prior May. In January, we awarded a degree to a student who was a part-time student for the duration of his JD. It turned out that by January, he was retroactively first in his part-time class. Not only that, when all the grades were in, he was also first in his class overall. As a result, this student will retroactively be awarded as a co-winner of some of our top rank and GPA prizes for 2021. Today, he is here to celebrate with all of our current graduates. We want to take time to recognize his remarkable achievements during this year's ceremony, given that we were not able to recognize them last year. Please join me in recognizing Michael O'Neill. Before attending GW Law, Michael earned his Bachelor of Arts in Government from Georgetown University, and then went on to earn his Master of Arts in Middle Eastern History from Tel Aviv University. Please join me in congratulating him. Now, our first 2022 award is the Kappa Beta Pi Awards. The Kappa Beta Pi Awards are presented to the women in the full-time and part-time divisions who attained the highest cumulative averages in the first year of legal study. Each student receives a monetary award, a Dean's Certificate of Achievement, and a computer tablet holding a legal dictionary. In the day division, our winner is Jessica Azarad. Jessica studied philosophy, politics, and economics at Claremont McKenna College, earning her Bachelor of Arts. In the evening division, the student with the highest GPA in the first year of law school is Nicole Candelori. Nicole could not attend our celebration today. She earned her Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering from the University of Virginia. Please join me in a round of applause for her. The Phi Delta Delta Award. The Phi Delta Delta Award is presented to the female student who attained the single highest cumulative average in the first semester. The winning student receives a monetary award and a Dean's Certificate of Achievement. With a 4.133 GPA in the first semester of law school, the winning student is Jessica Azarad. You just met Jessica. She was also the articles editor for the George Washington Law Review. The John Ordrono Awards. The next two awards are endowed in the name of John Ordrono, both recognizing exceptional performance during a single year of law school. Each winner receives a monetary award and a Dean's Certificate. The first Ordrono Award recognizes the member of the graduating Juris Doctor class who attained the highest cumulative average in the first year full-time course of study. With a first-year GPA of 4.133, a familiar number, our winner is Jessica Azarad. She is familiar to you by now, but I'll give you some more fun facts. She also thru-hiked the Appalachian Trail in 2018 and the Pacific Crest Trail in 2017. We do not have a hiking award. The second Ordrono Award recognizes the highest cumulative average in the second year full-time course of study. Our second-year award winner, with a GPA of 4.174 in his 2L year, is John Seidman. John, whom you met earlier in this program, earned his Bachelor of Arts in Political Science right here at the George Washington University. The Willard Waddington Gatchell Awards. Among our final awards this afternoon, the Willard Waddington Gatchell Awards recognize the 3 members of the graduating Juris Doctor class who have attained the highest cumulative averages over their entire law school careers. It goes without saying that the recipients of this award have worked very hard in each course, each semester, each of their years in law school. Each recipient will be given a monetary award and a Dean's Certificate of Achievement. It is my pleasure to announce the winners in alphabetical order, but in no particular order of rank. Jessica Azarad, Emma Eisendrath, and John Seidman. You've met all of these students before. Please come up on stage to get your award and take a group photo. The Ann Wells Branscombe Award is presented to the member of the graduating Juris Doctor class who attained the highest cumulative average in the part-time division for the entire course of the degree. This could otherwise be called the Excellence in Time Management Award, as the recipient excelled above all other classmates in juggling the rigors of the curriculum while working in the day and attending law school in the evening. I contend you that all deans and faculty accord the highest respect to students in the part-time program, and most certainly to the Branscombe recipient. The winner receives a monetary award, a Dean's Certificate of Achievement, and will receive an engraved gavel once that engraving is completed. Our winner today is John Cuddlefamo with a 4.01 GPA. We've seen John a few times today. John was the managing editor for the George Washington Law Review. The John Bell Larner Award. Our final presentation this afternoon, the John Bell Larner Award, is given to the member of the graduating Juris Doctor class who attained the highest cumulative average in the entire course for the degree. This is, of course, the award that designates the student with the highest distinction for overall academic excellence in the graduating class. This is the last award that we calculate after all grades are recorded. It represents an extraordinary effort. The winner receives a monetary award, a Dean's Certificate of Achievement, and shortly will receive an engraved gavel. We are very proud to honor today the student who earned the highest GPA in the 2022 graduating class with, as of today, pending one more grade to officially post, though we know what it is, 4.15, John Seidman. Congratulations to everyone. I am pleased to welcome back Elizabeth Ewart, our Dean of Students, to finish our presentation of awards today.
Thanks, everyone. And to conclude our academic awards ceremony, I want to remind you that your program has that QR code on the back. So you may start to scan that this afternoon to see all your names appropriately listed next to your awards. And graduates, please join me to thank those here who have supported you through these efforts, family, friends, pets, and other supporters. And families and other supporters, please join me in congratulating one last time our esteemed award winners. We're going to process back out. Dean Abramowitz will lead the faculty out first, and then the students will follow behind, and then family and friends can meet you out in the lobby for further hugs and celebration. Thanks again, and this concludes our Academic Awards Celebration 2022.